The 1988 film Child's Play took the tried-and-true notion that dolls are creepy and it would make for a pretty good horror movie if one came to life and started killing people, and put it to its full potential. It's not the first killer doll movie ever made, and it certainly won't be the last, but I think there are a lot of factors that make this one stand out, and has made it stand the test of time, and sparked a very popular franchise that is still loved to this day. One factor, I think, strangely enough, is that it has just a little bit of relatability to it. What parent hasn't seen an insanely popular toy, whether it be Cabbage Patch Kids, Furbies, or Tickle Me Elmos, and had to do everything in their power to get it for their kid? The popular toy in question for this movie are the good guy dolls, which, to be honest, are kind of creepy looking to begin with, and when Andy Barclay's mom can't seem to find one anywhere, in desperation she buys one from a bum on the street. That should be a parental victory right there, and for a brief moment everything seems great, but things go sour once a bunch of mysterious murders start taking place, and little Andy claims his doll is possessed by the soul of a notorious serial killer that was recently killed in a police shootout. Talk about worst-case scenarios. That's pretty much the plot of Child's Play in a nutshell, though there's just a little more detail to it that adds to its story. Andy's doll, Chucky, is indeed possessed by that killer, Charles Lee Ray, the Lakeshore Strangler, who just before dying chanted a voodoo spell that transferred his body into the doll. I know that sounds ridiculous, but in the long run it does add to the charm of it all. Chucky isn't simply just an evil demonic doll or possessed by a ghost or anything. He's a human, with a human personality and a very human agenda. Chucky's goal is to get revenge on the people who played into his death, like his getaway driver who left him behind and the detective who shot him. And with all the voodoo stuff involved, it lays down some nifty ground rules that give Chucky even more incentive. Chucky finds out that the longer he stays in the doll's body, the more human he becomes in it, and if he stays in it too long, he's stuck there for good. The only way out is to transfer his soul into the first person he revealed his secret identity to. And that person just so happens to be, you guessed it, little Andy. So at its core, it is a cheesy killer doll movie, but because of all these interesting, unique little plot details, I think it puts it a step above average. Added to the fact that the animatronics are really good and pretty convincing for the most part, that really helps. After all, what's the point in having a movie where a doll comes to life and you just can't believe it? But I can't kid myself here. I need to give full credit where credit's due, and the biggest reason, the absolute #1 factor as to why Child's Play is so memorable is Brad Dourif. His voice talent as Chucky is legendary here. He pulled off an amazing job, and let's face it, without him there just wouldn't be a Child's Play franchise. He really taps into his mischievous and evil side here, and he gives Chucky the perfect personality. And seeing as how he went on to do 4 more sequels and countless interviews and promotional material as Chucky, you can tell he really has a lot of fun with the character. And because of Dourif, that makes Chucky worth noting in the same sentence as other horror icons such as Freddy or Jason. The other actors in the movie do a good job too. I'm not putting them down, even though you can't really compare them to Dourif's voice work. I thought Chris Sarandon was very good as a detective investigating the murders, and Catherine Hicks really carried a huge portion of the movie as Andy's mom. And the kid playing Andy, Alex Vincent, well, he isn't the greatest child actor in the world, I'm not gonna lie, but he does well enough as the sweet and innocent kid. At the end of the day, I don't think Child's Play is a horror classic or anything, though it's a perfectly fine movie and all, but to be perfectly honest, it's not even my favorite in the series. It doesn't really have that much rewatchability in my opinion, since for the first half of the movie they almost make it like a mystery where you don't see Chucky in action at all, and you're left wondering, I guess, if the doll really is doing all the killing, or maybe Andy's just disturbed. But come on, we know from the very beginning it is Chucky. So waiting until the last half to see Chucky actually talk and interact with others is a little patience trying. You could argue that it's building up the tension, a la Jaws or something, but this isn't Hitchcock we're talking here. It's a killer doll movie. I want to see the killer doll. Fortunately, the sequels played up Chucky much more. So, even though it's far from being one of the best horror movies ever made, and it has some flaws, and there is plenty to enjoy with Child's Play. The plot is interesting, The acting's pretty good for a horror movie. The musical score is actually pretty spooky. The animatronics are top-notch. There are some pretty good moments of Chucky carnage, and Brad Dourif is just excellent in voicing Chucky. It's definitely worth a look. Verdict: see it.